so that the starting state of that object is shrunken and then it expands to be world size just until you've got it set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just stop the world whenever you need a script or something like that. But yeah, it's a known issue, and we're gonna get that fixed hopefully soon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the thing where the script UIs are inside the bounding box and you can't actually drop code blocks in them for some reason. That bug.
Okay. I'll capture that.
Yeah. Or yeah, we've already got that recorded. They're working on the fix, but
Okay. Got it.
hello. You're muted, I think.
Sorry, I've encountered the issue, the same thing. You're saying it's because it's inside a bounding box is why
Right.
we're unable to do. So all I'd have to do to fix that is to drag the script box out of that.
That should fix it, yes.
Thank you. Okay, cool.
And for context, somebody I don't recall who it was, but somebody actually was reported that on the Facebook forums, and that's how we found out about that bug. And if that person hadn't reported it, I'd be as confused as you guys were right now. So thanks again, whoever reported that.
So just a quick update on the deleting your worlds issue. So I did just test deleting a world, and you're right, it just leaves that prompt open where it says yes or no. If you click yes, like, it just looks like nothing happens. But if you do click off and then or open and close or close and open your PUI again, it does show that the world is properly deleted. So the action still works, but the UI is just not updating. So we'll look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. You guys have any questions about the competition?
Nope.
Things like that? Numbers?
Not about the competition. Just some specific scripting that I'm having trouble figuring out. So I've got a sort of like a Easter egg style, go find objects type thing. And the only way I could think to make it work, because you carry around a checklist, and every time you pick up one of the objects, it checks it off of the list automatically. So I had to put the scripts, each one of the objects had to have its own scripts that reports back to the checklist that you carry. But now I want to have it reset the game at the end so that if more people come in, it resets. The problem is I can't figure out one way to unify it to get it to reset, because each of the individual objects has a script that reports back to the one singular object. So how would I, like, my initial thought was to say that whenever the object is moved from its original position to, to do a thing where it says, if this is moved and this is moved and this is moved, and basically encompass all of them, so that if all of them are moved from their original position, then it would begin to reset the script. But unfortunately, I can't make it say if this and this and this and this and this.
Why not?
I'm not sure. I can't seem to get it to do that. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Okay. So I wasn't sure if that was an understanding thing or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess let's talk about the when you want it to reset and like what the behavior is that you want. Are you saying that when a new person enters, the world should reset at that moment, or there's like a key moment that everything should go back to where
when they're all completed? So once the group has found all of the objects, I'd want it to reset, so that if a new person's happens to come in, then all of the objects will be reset and the game can be played again. Because right now it can only be played once per instance.
Got it. So there's potentially an easy way that you could do it. I believe there should be a script block that says resetting the whole world. I think it's called reset world. That might work for what you're doing, so that if you do have a clear moment where like it might be safe to do that might work for you.
Or even just have a play again button.
Yeah, play again button that could do a full world reset. That might be a simpler approach. But that doesn't always guarantee things good to go back. Sometimes, like if you're holding something currently, that object might still be held by that player, but usually it should return everything correctly. So that might be like
I forgot that block was there. Yep, that'll do it.
That might be the simplest approach. But the other
Yep,
approach
thanks.
could be that well, just to make a full circle about how you might also approach it, you might also want to keep a manager that is aware of all of the objects, for example, and maybe on start, the objects register themselves to that manager. Say like on start, send the event register to my objects manager, and then pass in myself. And that way, you can use that manager to add those objects to a list automatically, and then you could have a button or whatever event that resets everything. So that manager already has a list of all of the objects that need to be reset, and then it using a loop, for example. That might also work depending on what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. Yeah, either one of those should work just fine. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Newborn Roboman.
You're still muted.
Okay,
There you
I'm
go.
getting some lag here, so if I go slow, don't question it. But I forgot about this. So I'd say that for making creatures, if you want to, this could make it easier. Like you group something and then you'd add what I call right now a skeleton. And basically you could just like add joints to like the edges of shapes. And then you could just like move it around and then it would move the shape to get that position and morph the shapes to get the position you want. So then if you're making some cheetah, it could be running and you could get the arms spread out easier and then the feet position easier.
Yeah, that would be an awesome feature to be able to have like a skeletal rig of like a human or a quadruped or stuff like that, and be able to animate them frame by frame or through tweening. That'd be a super cool feature. I wrote that down as a feature request on our list, so thank you. Zandria.
Hello. I have a question about the competition. One of the things it says that you'll be disqualified if the world is edited after the submission. So one thing I've noticed is that even if you don't edit something, just visiting in edit mode causes it to appear on your menu as if it has been edited, even though you haven't touched and changed anything. So I was wondering if that would affect it, if basically we have to just be hands off completely, or what?
I believe for that we're gonna use the publish time. So as long as you don't republish it after that date, I believe that should be safe. Let me confirm that with the team, though, because we're going to be entering the worlds in publish mode to check them out. So I believe it should be fine.
Yeah. And I believe there's going to be something later this week on the contest, right? A Q&A on that.
That's right.
So, yeah. So if we don't get a response from the people tonight, we'll make sure to have an answer for that at that event.
Okay.
Ukulele Man, what's up?
Yeah, how's it going? So my question also is based on the competition. So I noticed that the worlds that they're created in that you guys have for the examples, they're kind of flushed out worlds. Are you guys looking for a world that it's, that tool or that gizmo is built around, or does it matter if it's in a blank world or not? Would we get docked down if it's not in a flushed out world?
So the min
Or can
require
we-
so it doesn't hurt to have window dressing, but it's not required, essentially. So the
Okay.
core of it is having just the the mechanic by itself. If you want to make a world
Right.
around it, go ahead. But it's not going to dock you points or anything to not have it or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, because I was curious mostly because I wanted to have a gizmo and have it set up to where you could actually see it being used, maybe not necessarily in a world, but say like you have target practice, right? When you're shooting something, you kind of want to have targets so you can see it function, smoothly, make sure that it all works good.
Right.
And I wasn't sure if, like you said, building around the world was going to be required.
No. So, like, if you wanted to, you could just build it in the launcher template